Hello learners, this is Shawn from the Kindercare Education team with you again. For today's STEM activity, we're going to explore one of the base forms of energy, and that'll be sound energy. Sound energy is any time there is an event, an action, something occurs that creates noise, and we're going to explore how that noise or that sound travels, and how we can control and manipulate that sound to get a better impression of the sound itself and to guide where it goes to. This is really important and common for sound systems, for headphones, for speakers, or for noise canceling in rooms where they do music or voice recording, as well as understanding how sound travels, like if you're in a library. The first thing to understand with sound is that in the air around us, we have a bunch of different particles that we breathe in and out, oxygen, carbon, you have dust, you have everything that's in the air. So the air isn't empty, it actually has substance there. So when you make a sound, it creates a wave like water moving in a lake or a river if you throw a stone in it. Wherever the event of the sound is, it ripples outward in all the directions around that air, causing that one sound to spread, and it gets weaker as the ripple gets larger. So for example, if I clap, you're going to have that ripple go wide away from where the hands made impact, and it's going to spread all around. So it's at a full 3D environment. When trying to control sound and manipulate and guide sound, what kind of tools have you seen people use or techniques have people used in order to better hear something? A lot of time those tools are involving ways to manipulate or control how the sound arrives to a person or leaves a person. So if you've ever seen somebody who's trying to listen real close and they cup their ear, it's because they're trying to guide the waves of the sound to get as much of that wave guided to their eardrum as possible. At the same time, if you look at a megaphone, the reason the megaphone isn't just a tube of a speaker and it's actually a cone is because they're trying to guide all that sound out of that speaking device and push it in one direction. And that way it has really guided directional noise for the people that they're trying to speak to be able to hear it. We're going to try to create something to guide sound so we can get a better and more clear reception of the noise in order to make our own home entertainment system. For today's activities, there's no real items that you have to have. You can use a variety of materials and items. It's really whatever you have available at home. So you might use cardboard boxes, you might use cups, you might use paper towel rolls, you might make something out of just scrap cardboard you have laying around and tape. It's anything that you want to use, and then you want to have a device or an item that makes the sound. I'm going to be using a cell phone, and I'm going to be making something that can guide the audio from my cell phone outward so I can hear a show or music point in my direction, and I can get a better sound from it. If you don't have access to a cell phone or a tablet that you can use with this activity, you can also try using these supplies to make a megaphone to expand the reach of your own speaking or your own message. So the supplies I'll be using today is I'm going to use a old paper towel roller. This is just something that's going to hold and guide my sound. I'm going to be using just two styrofoam cups. You can use plastic cups. You can make something out of cardboard, anything you want. You can use toilet paper rolls. Just something that's going to act as a guide or the speakers for my sound system. I'm also going to have access to tape, just something to put everything together. And then I'm going to be using some paper towels to muffle and direct sound within my speaker system. When we're trying to guide sound, we want to make sure that we are causing the waves that ripple out in all directions to instead run into barriers and only go in specific directions. It's going to help push those waves in the direction we want. It's going to prevent the sound from going somewhere we don't want. So the goal of this speaker system is to make it where if I'm listening to music, if I'm watching a video, someone in another room is not going to hear it as much because the speaker's going to be pointing to me, and any other directions the sound would go would be muffled and either redirected or absorbed by the materials I use to make the sound system. You're also going to want to have scissors or something to cut material with. Most likely, you're going to want to make sure that you're using parental support. Unless we're working with some of our older children, we want to make sure we have a parental support with the cutting, whether it's child-safe scissors or the parent does the cutting for you, because you're going to want to make sure you have pretty clean cuts to be able to put things together. So what I'm going to challenge you to do is take whatever materials you do have in the house and try to make something that is going to guide your sound. So you want to think about the idea that if the sound is going to make a large wave, what can I do to prevent that wave and instead push it in one direction? Think of some ideas, look at different items you see around the house, speakers, headphones, how do those items work? And try to think of a way that you can take these materials to make a speaker. You'll want to make sure that you know on your device where the audio comes out of. So we don't want to necessarily go with our earpiece because I'm trying to broadcast sound. So I want to find typically on a phone or a tablet, you're going to have a speaker output. For my phone, it's at the bottom. So I want to make sure that I leave space whenever I develop for that sound to get out. If it's up against something, it's going to be muffled. So I want to make sure there's space for the sound to go out of, and I want to make sure that that item is inside of the speaker system. So I'm going to challenge you to make a speaker system. You can go and pause here, go see what you can think of, and then come back to see how I make it. And that way you can take those ideas, blend it with whatever ideas you have to make your best possible system. I'm going to make my speaker system, explain what I did, and then we'll look at it together. All right, so now that we're back, what did you do to manipulate sound from your phone or tablet or device, or to broadcast your voice if you're making a megaphone? What did you use to manipulate the sound? What are your plans? How does it work? Have you built and tested yet? Are you still thinking of ideas? And how do you think you'll use what materials you have available in order to control that sound? It's important to realize that, like we said before, it's all about manipulating and controlling where the waves are going. So if you think about it, whenever you have somebody cup their ear, whenever somebody covers their mouth to speak, you're guiding that sound. So if you go outside to yell for somebody's attention, to call a dog, you're yelling and you're putting your hands around your mouth because you're guiding that sound in their direction to create a louder, deeper sound that reaches them because you're guiding those waves as opposed to allowing them to spread out in a general direction. Our mouths act almost as cones already, just naturally. And that's why if someone's head is turned away from you when they're talking, you don't hear them quite as well because our mouth will act as a cone and guide it somewhat forward. It spreads a little bit, but whenever you add your hands, you guide it even more so. For my project, and the way I built mine was I took the paper towel roll and I cut a slit in the middle that will fit my phone. Because my phone is a little bit larger, I'll probably have to put something behind it to make sure it doesn't tilt. But it'll hold my phone, hold it at an angle, and because of the curve of the tube, it's not actually sitting flush against the speaker, so the sound can get out. I then took the cups that I had and I added them on both sides to act like a speaker. And this will guide the sounds this direction. So it's going to guide them forward from where the cups are facing. So anything hanging out behind it or to the sides are going to get less of the sound because it's going to travel down the tube. A little bit might escape through the material, through the cracks where it was attached, but the majority of the sound is going to travel down the tube and out. To go even further to try to soundproof my speaker system from anyone else to be able to listen so I can just watch my own show or listen to my own music without disturbing somebody, I also took paper towels and I added noise canceling in the back of the speaker. So at the bottom of the cup where the tube comes through, I stuck paper towel at the bottom of that cup behind the tube. So any sound that comes out is either hitting the wall of the cup or it's coming out of the front. And if it goes backwards, it's running into a folded up paper towel at the base of the cup to reduce the amount of sound that might escape from the back. So this is going to keep the sound mostly moving forward. Things I could do to improve it would be to make a case or to line the inside of where my phone goes so sound isn't escaping from this opening, and just keep as much sound as possible, almost like you're trying to keep water inside of a container flowing through the system, out the tubes, through the speakers. What I would challenge you to do is to now go ahead and take your sound device, whatever you use to make it, and explore how can you control the sound and guide it in even more. Can you adjust it to where it can open up? And what other things can you do with the control of sound? If I want to be able to listen to music and have myself and someone else listen to it, but still not take up the entire room, what could I do with my cups? Could I turn one cup to face the other direction? So one of us hears from this cup, the other one hears from this one. If I want to be able to make my sound even more soundproof, what other paddings or what could I build around my speaker system to keep any sound that comes out from leaking around the area and only have it go in the opening and direction of the cups? And what other ways can I manipulate that sound? A cool thing about this activity is it uses the design cycle we've talked about previously, where you're going to design, you're going to share it, you're going to test it, you're going to redesign and adjust it as many times as you want or need to make this as effective of a system as possible. So see what you can do to design your own battery-free speaker and to make it better as you work on it. If you do build a speaker, go ahead and share pictures or video of it working with us in the comments below. We're excited to see what you make. And make sure you check out our pages every week as we post new content, new lessons, and new activities to do at home. Thanks.